Char's Zaku 2. Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert 184 2Rs 2Bs, as always, Gundam.tk, and it's the real grade 1/144th Char's Zaku 2. You've already seen the D-Box and all the parts in all their real grade glory, but now it's time to turn them into the mobile suit and see how that stacks up. Spinning around at 3 times the speed of my normal turntable, Char's Zaku 2. And I have to say that sometimes I wasn't too crazy about the proportions as seen on the box and in some of the promotional literature, but actually seeing it here in front of my eyes, even though it comes across as a little bit fat on the camera, it actually doesn't seem that fat. It's a little bit slender, and though it is much, much thicker than the Gundam, I actually think that it comes across perfectly in terms of proportions. The multicolored pinks don't come across as much as I thought they would. You still just get the impression that this is overall just the pink, the red, and then the black-gray in the chest. And of course the red on the backpack. But it's once you get in close that you get the appreciation for the different number of lines and the way that the panels all fit together to give it this realistic feel as soon as you get up close to it. So how about posability? Well, you're able to bring up the front skirts, and the side skirts are not really going to go too far out of the way, although you can bend them just a little bit. But you're going to get the legs to come all the way forward for a forward kick, and off to the side. You just saw that the side armor popped off there, but you did get it up pretty far before that happened. The chest is going to move around this much, and then it's going to have a little bit of a bend mechanism, or a little bit of a bend forward and back, but not all that much. But it's the shoulders that are the real winner, as you saw before in the parts video, that you're able to bring the arms all the way across, reach right across there, touch your other arm. This armor here doesn't get in the way, you're able to go all the way around. As you've seen before, the arms can go up like this, so if you wanted to have him thoughtfully stroking his chin, no problems here. The shield's bend mechanism isn't as useful as I thought it would be, but anyway, it doesn't get in the way. And one thing that I wasn't too crazy about, this part sort of covers it up. But over here, sometimes I notice that there's a little bit too much of a gap in between the shoulder and the body. So you're going to want to keep that closed up just to keep it looking a little bit more symmetrical. In terms of posability though, you have to be a little bit careful sometimes that there can be too much. And in this case, because you have the ankles and the feet moving all over the place, even when you put it down on the ground, it doesn't feel like it's connecting everywhere that it should be. So again, this is going to take a little bit of fiddling just to get it in a basic pose, such as standing there. Now with the 30th anniversary of Gundam, you know, they really have come a long way in terms of evolution, revolution, which was the theme of one of the expos. But why am I saying this? Because when you click this head on, you might as well just go on Amazon.com or .jp or whatever and click one-click purchase, because when you turn the head, yes, that's right, the mono eye is going to turn to follow you. And I don't know if any of the other Char kits have that built into them. You'd think that maybe the perfect grade would or something like that. But for me, that, not having to pop that off, reposition the mono eye, bang, 30 years of progress has just paid off. And now it's time for the arch enemies, then friends, then arch enemies again, then fate unknown, to face off in their greatest challenge yet, that is the real grade height comparison. Sorry, that was a little bit overblown. But anyway, you can see that the height of the Gundam, the head height is going to be taller than the Zaku, although when you add in the commander's fin, he's going to take it. But the Gundam really does come across as being skinny, but the Zaku doesn't come across as being very fat when you see it in person. It just comes across as being a lot more filled out. And the two of them together with the multicolored white and the multicolored pinks, again, as soon as you get within about a foot of them, they're going to look fantastic. And from a distance, even though you don't know that that's in there, or even though that you can't see the color differentiation, the effect is still pleasing on the eye. And now, looking like a cartoon villain in comparison, we have the high-grade Universal Century Char's Zaku 2. And in this case, this is the extra finish version, which I picked up at a Gunpla Expo way back in the day in Hiroshima. And you can just see here the relative simplicity of the builds. Here you've just got big blocky parts down there, the feet are just one piece, then the skirts. The colors are all there, but this one comes across, especially in the sculpt of the head. If you've seen Turn A Gundam, the way the Zaku 2s or the Barjanans or whatever they're called, I forget off the top of my head, this head sort of comes across as being this, whereas this one has a much sleeker and meaner eye slit there, which just gives it that little bit of menace. But overall, I'd say this comes across as looking cartoony as it should from the 80s, and this one is going to come across as looking like a real piece of military machinery. Well, in terms of toys anyway. When you're swapping the manipulators on and off, and I should have mentioned this in the parts, this thing does not fit on all that well, and it's probably going to get lost, so be careful. Both of the weapons have a part here that's going to flip out that allows you to put it into the palm of the hand and hopefully stay there. Getting him armed up is going to bring up a few problems. First of all, it's hard to pop down that panel so that you can get the bazooka in there. Just fiddle around with either a toothpick or I just use the heat axe. And like with most Zaku weapons, because it has this thing coming at the back, it's going to get a little bit way of the forearm, but because you're able to bring the wrists out and bend them down, it actually comes across as being less of an issue with this real grade than compared to anything else that I've done. Usually you have to have it sort of hidden off to the side. But armed up, this guy's looking fairly impressive. And again, though I don't do a great job posing, you'll see that the side armor has fallen off a part of the arm, and I haven't swapped off the manipulators, but you will have no problems at all bringing the arms forward to bring the rifle there. And even though I complained earlier about there not being a swing mechanism, because it is able to pivot, you're able to keep the shield going back even if you're bringing the arm forward, which would have looked a little bit out of place. And due to its posability, sometimes even just when you're in mid-transition between poses, you'll stumble across something that may look good standing on your shelf. For the kneeling pose, I've already lost the side armor, the front armor, and the leg itself. The ground Gundam could learn a few things about kneeling poses from this guy. The only thing is, well, what to do with the left arm, but besides that, again, the front skirt, it shows it in the promo images of having the front skirt on in this kind of pose, but it doesn't want to work. This thing is going to pop off all over the place, and that side skirt, same issue. But then again, because it's hidden, depending on the way you display it, it still comes across as looking pretty good. You're just going to want to be careful of missing parts. With a 1/144th action base and this gray part that you'll want to keep in a Ziploc, just pop that on and the aerial poses are now completely open to you. And once you've gone aerial, even though it sort of looks like he's lounging in a pool, and a whole bunch of parts fell off getting it in here, that side armor and the front armor, including the legs, I was starting to have weight issues with one of them where it started to fall until it just fell right off. But again, with the amount of posability, you can have some very realistic looking poses, and getting the bazooka in both arms can be a real issue for a lot of HGUC kits. No problems at all here. And no matter how cool some other aerial poses may look, nothing's more important in my books than seeing what kind of kick this Char Zaku 2 can deliver. And because of the real grade, you can do a very good job of it. I could have done better with this pose, but with you, a little bit of patience and an action base, you can get some great results, I'm sure. So that about wraps up my review of the mobile suit. Lots more poses that you can try on your own. Anyway, outside of a few problems, very interesting results. But stay tuned to see if the pros outweigh the cons, and then you can make your own call by watching the next part and the verdict. So anyway, everybody, Robert184 Gundam.tk, there's the Zaku mask. Thanks for watching this and all the other videos. Stay tuned for lots more. See you next time, everybody. Round 1. Ready, fight! Hey Jackie, you know you're supposed to get in there and take the kick for me. Yeah, but you know what? He's even too fast for the trick photography.